Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you some of the crazy symptoms that I had back when I had severe Candida overgrowth but just didn't know about it. I'm also drinking my favorite matcha. This is a cool concoction I came up with lately. So instead of just doing matcha, almond milk, liquid stevia, ice, I started adding orange blossom water to it, which can be found in like the ethnic aisles of your grocery store. It's used in a lot of Lebanese food, and adding like a tablespoon of that to your matcha, it just tastes like crazy good. It's so good. So that's what I'm drinking right now. But let's get into it. So I had major Candida overgrowth. I've kind of documented a lot of this, earlier on this channel. And there were so many symptoms I didn't know were Candida related. So until I kind of went and saw a functional medicine doctor and worked with, or technically a homeopath and worked with her, I actually had no clue. But there were so many symptoms and I wanted to share them here. I figured it can help a lot of you. If you're having a bunch of these symptoms, maybe being like, hey, I need to work on my gut a bit. So the first thing that was super frustrating was insomnia. That out of all my symptoms was the worst because I was so exhausted. I could barely get off the couch. Fatigue was another symptom. So I had major fatigue and I was like, I want to sleep, but I would go to sleep and I just couldn't fall asleep, or I would just keep waking up. So it was really, really rough because I wasn't able to just get the rest that I needed. The second thing was really dry, itchy skin. I also did have rashes like eczema, specifically around my mouth, armpits, like inner elbows, those areas that usually will show up, especially if you have fungal overgrowth. But I did have rashes everywhere else as well. But those areas were the primary, and my skin, even if I didn't have a rash, was super, super dry and super, super itchy. I could drink all the water in the world and it was still dry skin. I had perpetual bloating. I always looked like I was pregnant and I was super lean. So it was weird for me to have that because I was like, I know it's like, I'm not chubby. I know it's not fat. So why do I look like I'm overweight on my belly? And it was literally just hard all the time, super uncomfortable. I was extremely irritable. So like everything would bother me. I was like always short and on edge, and that's not my personality. I'm normally very calm and chill and happy and outgoing and positive. So it was just like, what's happening? I also had very severe mood swings. So one second I would be like super angry at somebody. The next second I would be happy. Blurry vision. I would have to like really strain to focus on something or to see something because everything just looked glossy or blurry. Loose stools. I had major IBS and I was having minimum 3 bowel movements a day. Super painful, lots of cramping, lost a lot of mucus. It was very uncomfortable. Abdominal cramping was part of that all the time. I just felt in pain. My stomach never felt good. Couldn't lay on my stomach, couldn't wear tight clothes, just hurt a lot. Brain fog was horrible. Couldn't remember things, couldn't concentrate. Major nutrient deficiencies. So like I started noticing my hair, skin, nails were brittle, my iron was low, everything was just not where it needs to be. It was all subpar. Skin rashes, which I touched on earlier. Acne was really big. I also had recurring yeast infections most of my life. That I knew was yeast related, but I would just take like antibiotics or antifungals and like a Canestin cream, and I was like, okay, that's fine. Not realizing it was doing so much more harm than good. Lots of histamine. So again, I always felt itchy. I had hives. If I would itch, hives would pop up. Itchy nose and ears. Lots of food sensitivities, like hundreds. When I did my food sensitivity test, I have a list here. So actually that's why I'm looking at my screen, just so I don't forget any, but I'm going to scroll down because I'm at the bottom of the list. But yeah, I just always felt like everything I ate was a problem, and every food sensitivity test I had done, the list was endless and it just kept changing. So lots of food sensitivities. I also had weakened immune system. So I either was sick all the time or like couldn't get over things quickly. So I'd have a runny nose or a cough for a long time, or I had no sicknesses at all for years. And it was like, because my immune system by that point was so fatigued and weakened, it just stopped responding to viruses and bacteria. I also had a lot of viral flares. I was getting shingles flares like almost every year. Epstein-Barr kept flaring up because my immune system was so exhausted from fighting chronic Candida. I had no sugar tolerance. So when I would eat a speck of sugar, immediately I'd get hives, itching, all of the things. Very sensitive to any sugar, period. And then extreme fatigue, which I touched on earlier, but it was at a point where I could like barely get off my couch. I had a bunch of kids and I couldn't even like take care of them properly. I mean, I did, I forced myself, but it was like hard. I was dragging my body around everywhere. So those were some of the main symptoms. And honestly, the list went on from there. I didn't know most of those were related to Candida, and most people who experience some or all of these symptoms also don't know, but it really comes down to the health of our gut. When we have yeast overgrowth, our gut lining is inflamed. Pathogens like yeast release a ton of histamine, and our immune system releases a lot of histamine. So everything becomes out of balance. Our liver becomes so overburdened with the toxic compounds and chemicals that are released from the pathogens. And then we are not producing enough enzymes. Our gut doesn't digest well. We start getting food sensitivities. Because we're not digesting, we're getting a leakier gut. We're feeding pathogens with that food. This all just kind of drives severe fatigue because our vital force just is not where it needs to be. We start losing that vitality. Our body's overworking. So everything just starts to fall apart. And it really starts from the health of the gut. And Hippocrates, and I sent a newsletter out on this because this is so true. Hippocrates, who's the father of medicine, says all disease begins in the gut, and he is so right. If you have a strong, healthy gut, if your gut has a good, healthy probiotic balance, you're digesting well, so you're absorbing nutrients, your liver and kidneys are not becoming overburdened from the toxins from the gut, your immune system is not overworked from fighting yeast, that it can actually clear cancer cells, it can fight viruses, it can take care of us, it can turn over cells. Every single part of our body is healthy. So it starts in the gut and it ends in the gut. The gut has to be strong and healthy for the rest of the body to be healthy. But when we're stressed, when we're eating a modern, diet, when we're taking antibiotics frequently, when we're drinking alcohol, or, exposed to a ton of chemicals, this stresses our gut out, and then we lose that good probiotic balance. We become inflamed. Everything starts to snowball from there in a bad way. And then we start to have this chronic disease form as a result. So it really comes down to the health of our gut. The good news, though, is that we can reverse all of this. That's what's beautiful about our bodies. It's self-healing. So we can reverse all of the body inflammation and the immune weakness and the pathogens and the leaky gut. And it really just comes down to a gut reset. And that's what I made my gut reset program for, was it helped me clear all of my issues. And then I just passed on the baton to you guys to do the same. It's like my favorite program ever because it's so jam-packed with every single thing you will need to clear whole body inflammation, histamine, skin issues, candida, gut issues, but it's done in a really easy and sustainable way so that you're having a really, you're not having a hard time just feeling like everything is so hard. Each week builds on the next. So it's such a great program. And you currently can get $80 off with the code SECRET offer. And starting at the end of next week and the week after, kids just came home, so it's loud, I apologize. But within a couple weeks, we're doing a expansion to the program. So I'm actually adding on another couple months worth of weeks and support. So for those who really have some long-term issues and they need a bit more time on the program, they get that support and that deeper cleanse. And anyone who signs up this week on the gut reset gets grandfathered in to the expansion program, but at the old pricing. So I will be increasing it by a few $100s once I add on those other weeks of content and programs. So if you sign up now, you get $80 off, and you're signing up at the original program pricing before pricing goes up when I do the expansion, but you'll get access to the expansion. So I would love if you join the gut reset. You will get amazing results. It works. It's my 3-step foolproof method to completely fixing the body top to bottom. And it really just gets down to the core issues that need to be addressed. And I do it in a sustainable way. And I teach you how to build healthy habits long-term to maintain the results that you were getting kind of through the program. So I would love to have you join. Use the code SECRET offer. It's linked down below. Get $80 off. You will love this program, and you can join now, but start anytime. So you don't have to start today. It can start really anytime you feel ready. And you get so many perks and benefits to joining. It's all mentioned and linked down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, comment them down below, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Cheers.